Super quick, why I'm not Catholic. Mainly because it means you have to trust the Pope's interpretation of things over your own interpretation. You have to trust the Pope's interpretation of the Bible over your own, and Catholics trust the Pope's interpretation of history over their own. And just from my own looking into history and reading the Bible, Pope infallibility especially is false, obviously. So it's not in the Bible and it's not in history. And I can see that clearly with my own two eyes. And anybody can see if they look more than just a surface level at some quotes from Catholic answers. If you actually look into it yourself, you'll see those are lies. The Pope infallibility is not historical and it's not biblical. So basically the only way you can be Catholic is if you just close your eyes to your own interpretation and you just trust whatever the Pope claims. And he's been claiming it for probably about 1,000 years now. So, some people just fall for authority claims, similar to the government type of stuff where people just do whatever they're told. With people wear a suit and tie, they just fall for authority. So it's not surprising, it's human nature for people to fall for these tricks, but I'm not Catholic because I just trust that I can interpret the world. When people speak, I can interpret their words just fine. When I see a glass of water, I can interpret it's a glass of water and I can drink it. So when I see that the early church, for example, did not think the Pope was ever infallible, they actually disobeyed the Pope. Cyprian, for example. There's so many examples I can give. I don't want to get into debates on the exact. They're just going to come up with some loophole or this situation is this, but come on now. If you just look at the broad strokes of things, you can easily tell people don't believe papal infallibility. It's not in the Bible. Mark 7, Jesus warns against tradition of men in favor of commandments of God, the word of God, what was written. He said, have you not read the scriptures? Paul says, if anyone preach any other gospel, let him be accursed. Now Rome tells you have to believe Mary assumed heaven and you have to believe mortal sin and purgatory. Paul didn't know anything about these things. It's crazy that people actually fall for this, to me, honestly. So I'm not Catholic. Let me just summarize how I started out. Basically, I'm not Catholic because I can interpret the world just fine. And I don't need a funny hat man Pope guy to try and tell me what everything means when I have just as much access to the information as he does. And it's just obviously contradictory, his claims. And more Catholics find this out and leave every year, or they become trad Catholics, or they just argue on Twitter, but try and Pope-splain it away. But, come on now. Everyone with two eyes can see the truth. It's just a lie. So that's why I'm not Catholic, because it's not true.